You're standing in your driveway on a Tuesday morning in July. The nor'easter came through overnight, and there's a piece of shingle sitting on the hood of your car. You look up at the roof, and yeah, there's a bald patch where 3 tabs used to be. It's not catastrophic. It's not a hole. It's the kind of thing your neighbor would look at and say, "You should probably get someone to look at that before the next one." 15 minutes later, before you've even had coffee, there's a truck on your street. A guy hops out, points at your roof, and says, "I've noticed you got some damage. I'm in the neighborhood doing work at the yellow house on the corner. I can knock this out today. Cash discount if you sign now." That story plays out on every shore street between May and October. And the ending of that story, the one where the family loses $3, $5, sometimes $15,000 to a contractor who is never coming back, that ending is not because those families were careless. It's because nobody ever showed them the 10-minute routine that separates a legitimate contractor from a storm chaser. That's what today's episode is. 10 minutes, 4 steps, free tools. It's the routine we teach every family in Monmouth County who comes to us after they've already been burned, and it's the routine we should have taught them before. Here's the part nobody wants to say out loud. Most of the money lost to bad contractors on the Jersey Shore is not lost because the homeowner didn't know a red flag when they saw one. It's lost because the homeowner did know, and they went ahead anyway. They knew the door knock felt off. They knew the deposit felt high. They knew the truck didn't have a business name painted on the side. But it was Tuesday. The rain was coming again Friday. The kid's bedroom was underneath the shingle patch. The contractor had an answer for everything, and they were nice, and they said they could start tomorrow. So the homeowner said okay, and they wrote the check. New Jersey knows this pattern. It's one of the reasons the state has one of the strongest contractor registration laws in the country. Under the New Jersey Contractors Registration Act, every home improvement contractor operating in this state has to register annually with the Division of Consumer Affairs. The registration number has to appear on their contracts, on their business documents, in their advertising, and on their vehicles. Every job over $500 has to be in writing. Every contract has to include a specific set of disclosures. That is not a gentle suggestion. That is state law. And every single one of those requirements exists because at some point, a family in a town like ours lost enough money to convince a lawmaker in Trenton that this needed to be a rule. So the problem is not that we're missing the rules. The rules are there. The problem is that the rules are invisible to most families until after the money has already changed hands. Let's fix that. I want you to picture the same driveway, same nor'easter, same shingle on the hood, same truck at the curb. This time, the homeowner does one thing before saying yes. They pull out their phone. And in 10 minutes, while the contractor is still standing there, they do 4 checks. That is it, 4 checks. If all 4 come back clean, the contractor stays. If any of them fail, the contractor goes. Here is what those 4 checks are. Check number 1, the registration number. Every legitimate New Jersey home improvement contractor has a registration number that looks like this. The letters 13VH, followed by a string of digits. That number should be on their business card, on their proposal, on the side of their truck, and on any advertising. Ask for it. If they hesitate, that is your answer. A legitimate contractor is used to being asked. An illegitimate contractor is used to changing the subject. Check number 2. Verify the number is real, right now, in the driveway. New Jersey publishes a free public database at newjersey.mylicense.com/verification. You can search by license number or by business name. It takes about 30 seconds. What you're looking for is a match, an active registration in the name of the business the contractor claims to work for, with a status that says active, not expired or suspended. Check number 3, the written contract for anything over $500. This is not a suggestion, it's a state requirement. Roofing, siding, decks, driveways, windows, if the job is over $500, they owe you a written contract. And that contract has to include their registration number, their business address, a total price, a start date, and an end date. If they want to write a total on the back of a business card and shake your hand, you already have your answer. Check number 4, the deposit. New Jersey doesn't cap the deposit amount by state law, but the industry norm for home improvement work is 1/3 at signing, 1/3 at rough completion, and 1/3 at final walkthrough. Anything higher, half up front, all up front, just cover the material cost. That is not a payment schedule. That is a goodbye. You will not see them again. 4 checks: registration number, live verification, written contract, sane deposit. 10 minutes, free. Let me walk you through exactly what the routine looks like on your phone. You're at the door. You have the contractor's proposal or business card in your hand. You open your browser and you go to newjersey.mylicense.com/verification. That's one word, My License. The page opens and you'll see a drop-down. You want the option that says Home Improvement Contractor, or HIC. You type in the business name or the registration number. You hit Search. 3 things can happen. 1, you get a clean match. The business name matches, the number is active, the address roughly matches the truck outside. That's a green light on this step. 2, you get a match, but the status says expired, suspended, or revoked. That is a hard no. Close the door. 3, you get no result at all. No such number, no such business. That is also a hard no. Close the door. The whole search takes 30 seconds. There is no reason not to do it. And there is no legitimate contractor in this state who will be offended when you do.
Next, if the search comes back clean, you look at the contract. In New Jersey, a home improvement contract has to be in writing for any job over $500. It has to include the contractor's registration number, the contractor's legal business name and address, a start date, an end date, and the total price of the work. It also has to include the notice of your 3-day right to cancel. The state calls this the right of rescission for contracts signed at your home. If a contractor hands you a 2-line proposal on a piece of receipt paper, that is not a contract. That is a note. You have a right to a real contract before you sign anything. Now the deposit. If the contractor says the material cost is high and they need 50 or 60% up front, the answer is polite but firm. You are willing to escrow the material cost. You are willing to pay 1/3 at signing, 1/3 when materials are delivered, 1/3 at final walkthrough. You are not willing to hand over the whole job on day 1. If the contractor tells you they can't work that way, that is information about them, not about you. And finally, this is the piece nobody talks about. You write down the license plate of the truck. Not because you expect anything to go wrong, because if anything does go wrong and you have to file the complaint with the New Jersey Division of Consumer Affairs, the license plate is the fastest way for an investigator to connect the person on your driveway to the business on the paperwork. It takes 10 seconds. You can do it while they're loading up. That's the whole playbook. If it feels slow the first time you do it, that's because you're new to it. The second time, it's automatic. The third time, you'll be doing it for your neighbor over coffee. Here is the piece I want to talk about honestly. Everything I just described is free. The state publishes the verification database. The contract requirements are in the statute. The complaint form is on the Consumer Affairs website. None of it costs a homeowner $1. And yet families in this county lose money to bad contractors every single week. Why? Because the routine isn't normalized. Nobody grew up seeing their parents do it. Nobody had a home ownership class that showed them the 4 checks. The one time in your life you need this routine, the driveway, the storm, the truck at the curb, is exactly the moment when you don't have time to invent it from scratch. That's why we built Local Jobs. Local Jobs is a project of our sister organization at Ad Valorem. What it does is put the verification step in front of the hiring step, not behind it. When a homeowner posts a job on Local Jobs, Every contractor who bids on that job is already verified. Their New Jersey IC registration is live. Their number is on file. Their business address matches what the state has. The homeowner doesn't have to remember to check. The check is already done. We built this because we watched too many families in Monmouth County do the 4-step routine after the money was already gone. And the message we kept hearing was, "I would have checked, but I didn't know how to check. And by the time I found out how, the guy was already on my roof."
The local jobs pitch is not that homeowners can't do the check themselves. They absolutely can. The pitch is that they shouldn't have to remember to. It should be normal. It should be default. Verification should be the water the fish swims in, not a stunt you pull off in the driveway during a hailstorm. If you're a homeowner in Monmouth County, you can post a job on Local Jobs for free. If you're a contractor, you can register on Local Jobs for free, and if you're already NJ registered, your verification comes over automatically. The whole point is to make the honest side of this industry easier to find than the storm chaser side. That's it. That's the whole product. And if we do our job right, 10 years from now, the routine I described in Act 3 becomes something families do without thinking about it, the same way you check the expiration date on milk. That's the goal. That's why we get up in the morning. If you take one thing from this episode, take this. The 4-step routine: registration number, live verification, written contract, sane deposit, is your family's insurance policy against the single most common way families in Monmouth County lose money to bad actors. Do it once, this week, when there is no storm. Look up a contractor you've hired before. See how the verification page works. Save it in your phone's bookmarks. Show your spouse. Show your teenager. Because someday your teenager is going to own a home too, and they should know how this works before they need it. And if you are that neighbor with the shingle on the hood, and there is a truck in your driveway right now, take the 10 minutes. It is not rude. It is not overreacting. It is the exact thing the state of New Jersey wrote a law to make sure you could do. Love of Humanity is a Monmouth County 5013 nonprofit. We publish free, family-focused community education because your family's money shouldn't depend on which page of Google you scroll to at 11 p.m. If today's episode was useful, share it with the neighbor who's about to hire someone. And if you run a Monmouth family-facing business, we're always looking for partners for our monthly community education pieces. Email us at partnerships@donatetoloveofhumanity.com. See you on the boards.